names super quick for you. In England, number 2, Matthew Josiah. Number 3, Stephen Dunbay. Number 5, Alex Saracen. Number 6, Sam Richard. Brett Koenig, the captain. Number 9, Nathan Christopherson, vice captain. Number 10, Dan Evans, number 13. Nathan David, number 14. Nick Mester, 22. 27, Finlay Britnell Craven. 29, Tom Bell. 35, Jamie Hughes. And 50, Jack Leach. And for Northern Ireland Brew, you know these boys very, very well.
Yeah, so we have number 6, Peter Morrison. Number 7, Adam Hill. Number 5, Luke Wallace. Number 9, Sam Earwicker. Number 10, Josh McElroy. Number 12, Fakri Faisal. Number 18, Johnny Hill, the coach there. Number 20, Aaron Murphy. Number 22, Abdullah Darwish Karim. And number 27, Alex Watts. 50, John Bruce. 57, Sam Laverty. And 99, Mitchell Hyland.
With that perfect timing as we're underway, the opening rush won by Northern Ireland, attacking on the far side, and that shot on the wing just missing its target.
Yeah, a nice dive down to the left by Britnell Craven to get out of the way of the throw from Adam Hill, and it's released on the right-hand side by Evans, sailing over the head of Abdullah Karim. Koenig is out on the left-hand side there, Chris O'Reilly.
These sides know each other very, very well. They met in the bronze medal championship in Graz last year, won by Northern Ireland. It's the third meeting in a Euros final between these two sides, one apiece so far. And we're looking at the first big hit there from the right-hand side. Beautiful hit by Evans.
Not just a single hit, a double hit. So it actually hit Morrison and bounced up and then hit Karim. So a double hit for Evans there. 2 players out, and England take the lead. They are 5 players against the 4 of Northern Ireland in green, far side of the camera. Single ball release, cross-court by Johnny Hill, and it's Northern Ireland back at the back of court, defending now with 2 balls. England lines pressing up with 3.
Laverty going down low and 10. Evans with a big catch on the back track. Beautifully done. Evans with a massive impact here early doors.
Yeah, that's 3 kills he's got there so far. 3 eliminations, I should say, as Christopherson takes a walk to the outbox now.
Northern Ireland under a little bit of pressure here early doors, missing that one. I have to say, England very good on the press here with the wings in the defensive side. Koenig looking for the running counter straight away, but there, as we speak, there's a great counter from Northern Ireland.
Yeah, there was nice tracked movement there. They managed to track the hit on Sam Laverty there, and a nice pre-throw from Koenig, hitting the toes of Hill on the left-hand side of the screen there. It's Aaron Murphy left in by himself. Now, this player is known for his catching ability.
If there's one man you'd probably want in a 1-on-4 situation, it is Aaron Murphy. A tricky, tricky player. Probably the last player you want to be facing in the neutral zone as well. And here, I guess, he'll be looking to, he has time as well to take apart this English team. A catch is the priority, but England also know not to give him a catch.
Yeah, and if a catch is made by Murphy here, not only would it get out the thrower, it would bring in a player for Northern Ireland, so it would level things.
He has just over 30 seconds left to try and turn this one around. Britnell Craven placing that one safely just to the right-hand side, and almost catching him out there, Murphy, with the full court shot.
Yeah, good awareness from Britnell Craven to just get his leg up out of the way in time. Murphy going for the catch there. Britnell Craven celebrating the hit as he dives down to the ground and is lifted up by his teammate Dan Evans.
And an impressive start from England. You mentioned Dan Evans there, and I think it was his impact in the opening 30 to 60 seconds that made all the difference in that opening set. The double hit right early doors from the right-hand side, followed by the catch. 2 momentum shifting or momentum starting plays from the England right winger as they take the opening 2 points of this men's final.
The opening rush, we compete for the middle ball, which is won by Mester, but he slips over the middle line. Now, you can't cross the middle line if you're competing for the middle ball at the start, so that's a line fault as Abdullah Karim is hit out on the right-hand side by Evans.
You can see the focus here from England early doors to take out the wings. Karim has been phenomenal so far in this championship. A brilliant defensive player as well as an attacking threat on the left wing. Laverty, another one in the centre of the Northern Ireland attack. We'll see if England can take him out early doors, but instead it's Koenig on the England left wing who takes the hit.
Yes, the captain was up in the air as he was struck there on his legs as he was making his way back down to the ground. England with 4 balls now. They're going to release 1, 2, 3 at Hill, who pancakes down onto the ground.
And perfect timing there, waiting for Hill to go down and then placing it nicely. You don't need all the power in the world to make that shot. You just need to have the right timing, and England doing a brilliant job there, though they are 2 players down as we are just played 1 minute in this set.
A lot of players eliminated early on in this set. A nice pre-throw hits Laverty there as Murphy collects the ball. Was that a catch in between the legs as he was rolling backwards?
Hughes somehow keeping himself on court and keeping the ball under control between his legs. That is truly a play worthy of the final.
Oh, Mester hit out on the back, so that was a quick innings for him coming back in for the catch from Hughes there. That catch was incredible.
Oh, that's a highlight already that we're going to be seeing for a long, long time. But crucially, it's brought England back into this set. 2 players apiece and still a good 80 seconds left to play. A lot can happen here.
Hill with a shot over the head of Hughes. He crouched down low in the corner, made his body a small target. He goes cross-court onto Murphy, then Hill tries to counter Hughes, but he ducks down underneath it again. 2 balls on Murphy, and then a counter onto Hughes on the right-hand side. Oh, Britnell Craven pushing himself backwards, just stays safe inside the confines of the court. He's in by himself now. Is he going to target Hill? Yes, that's safe defense from Hill.
Only eyes on Hill right now, as Murphy was not a threat on the other side. But now Murphy has a ball. Britnell Craven has to be a little bit smarter. You can see him going for a wider angle. He still has time to turn this around, looking for the catch down low. No dice this time, and he's got 33 seconds left. Northern Ireland experts in running down the clock, though.
But Britnell Craven didn't waste any time in giving them 3 balls, so it's on Northern Ireland to play. They've got play 2 called on them. They have to release 2. They release 2, and it's the second one by Murphy that hits Britnell Craven. He's down, dives down to the left, and the fans in the stands applauding Northern Ireland there. There's a lot of support showing out for both teams here in Limerick Island.
Absolutely packed stands here. Fantastic to see in the final day of this championship as you get a few replays of the action down low. Beautiful shots, and I have to say that catch from Hughes, an absolute superstar play, but unfortunately for England, not enough for them to win the set. And incredible to see how often it can shift momentum in the space of just 3 minutes. It looked like England had turned it around, but all of a sudden it's 2 points apiece.
Looks like there's been a false start there by Northern Ireland, so England Lions taking 5-ball possession. They're probably going to target one of the danger men. They're going for Johnny Hill in the middle. He's managed to hop away from it, and the crowd are loving that dodge.
It's a bit of
Big
a painful
play.
situation for England there with 5 balls, unable to take advantage early doors, and Laverty there with
jump by Hughes. Did you spot the height on that one?
That is phenomenal. Hughes showing off early doors his ability, not just in the air but also down low with the catch in the previous set.
Kareem.
Beautiful stuff there to take out Christopherson, who was lingering there, Kareem, in the neutral zone, waiting for somebody maybe to throw at him, looking to bait something, but then took it upon himself.
Kareem just rolling across the court there, but hit, and Laverty taking a walk to the outbox also. So it's 5 players in for England near side camera versus 4 of Northern Ireland. Murphy trying to target Evans with a cross-court shot, and Koenig out also on the left-hand side.
Interesting there. He wasn't so sure about it, but that's why we have the referees. And the ball up in the air. Another hit coming in. Excellent follow-up. And meanwhile, Murphy taken out. Britnell Craven with eyes open there on the left-hand side, punishing Murphy.
Opportunistic and athletic to pace his way up the court, closing the distance down on Murphy and making that hit all that much easier because of the closed distance.
3 players apiece now, and a great cross-court free throw from Britnell Craven. Northern Ireland looking to respond, but good laterals from both Mester and Hughes, almost on a string, the 2 of them, pulled out to the left-hand side, double dodge.
That one bounced, so of course if the ball goes on the ground first, then it will be a dead ball, and there will be no eliminations from that. Safely blocked by Hill. Targets Mester with a short running counter. That one clipped him, though, by Britnell Craven. He's making a lot of hits here today.
Wonderful stuff. He is also from long range on the defensive side as well. He's really switched on the left wing for England, and looking very confident as well. A few early hits does a huge amount for a player's confidence, and you can see that he looks like he's running the show right now.
Yes, and he should be confident because there's only 35 seconds left. They have 1 player left in Northern Ireland, and it's very difficult to turn things around when you are that 1 player by yourself, Chris.
Still time though, with 25 seconds left. You feel like a catch is the big thing. Good counter, Mester unable to be hit though. A double coming in from England to close out the set. Good effort from Morrison, but not enough to stay on court. It's England taking a 4-2 lead. The sides trading set for set, and a situation that is quite reminiscent of Northern Ireland's semi-final against Austria yesterday, the second half, in which quite literally the entire 20 minutes saw the side trade set after set after set, nobody building up a lead, and it looks like we could be onto something similar here. A little bit early though, to be sure of that.
Opening rush won by Johnny Hill this time. It'll be Northern Ireland with 3 balls as Evans applies some pressure on the right-hand side for England Lions. Abdullah Karim fires at him. He hops over it with grace.
Impressed by the England control on the back line. They're really living on the edge here, but able to stay in the bounds of the court, and they're well aware of their confines here. You probably don't even need to show them lines. They know how big the court is. They know where their body should be. It's incredible to see.
Absolutely.
An opportunity now for England. Still 6 players apiece. No early hits. That changes almost immediately as Mester clipping the toes. Their beautiful free throw in the center, and England taking the early initiative.
Laverty blasts out Mester, but there's a counter from Evans which hits him out with it bounced up into the air, and Morrison with the catch.
He stays in play as well. Usually in those situations you see a player maybe catching but going out of bounds, but Morrison, beautiful awareness, just as we spoke about, these players knowing the court inside out. And meanwhile Britnell Craven, who's had a big role to play so far for England, out early. England down to 2 men.
As the ball popped up in the air, there's a cover shot from England Lions, which gifted Northern Ireland 5 balls. They made the most of it. They struck out Koenig and another player, and now they're just down to the one player. It's Christopherson with everything to do here.
And meanwhile, a yellow card given to Hughes there. He was hit out in the neutral zone, throwing the ball behind him. And with that, Northern Ireland finishing off this set. Not much that Christopherson can do about that. Blue card for Hughes to boot. Northern Ireland level as the chance coming in from the sea of green in the stand.
Just soaking up the atmosphere here at the University of Limerick Island, the Dodgeball European Championships 2025.
Meanwhile, you may notice on the top left-hand side of your screen, you can see an overview of some very, very interesting stats, and beautifully provided as well, giving an insight into the styles of play and who the big players are in this game. As we go into halftime, we'll dive into those just a little bit more.
Yes, that's provided by Playback. If you're interested, you can scan that QR code on your screens.
Early exchange coming out without any hits. England with 5 players at the start of this set.
No hits made in that play, though.
Yeah, good blocking in the neutral zone for Britnell Craven, and a big hit there. Was that a catching height, but such power on, you could hear it from all around the arena.
Lovely pre-throw from Karim, who just dives down to the floor. Secondary movement after he made that throw to get away from the shot. And there's an exchange on the right-hand side. Christopherson for Abdullah Karim, number 42. Big plays.
That an exchange and a trade that will suit Northern Ireland down to the ground as they have the player advantage here. And that
Morrison sits down.
Not the same anymore. Morrison, I think, just either being clipped on the way down or
line
touching
fault.
himself out. Line fault there.
Yep. Early pre-throw by Mester connects with
Laverty
Hill.
hit out as well. What a quick turnaround from England.
Keep your eyes on the action. The hits just keep on coming and coming and coming, and we're not even halfway through this set so far. Lots of time for Murphy to turn things around. Britnell Craven's out in the middle. He's going to ignore him. He's going to exit court now. Murphy dashing back. Is it going to be a double counter? Yes, and they both connect. Fantastic timing and accuracy celebrated by the Lutterworth Meteors teammates there, sorry.
Koenig unleashing a beast of a follow-up throw there. This England team knowing where to place the ball, and you have to have a certain amount of confidence in your throwing to unleash like that against Aaron Murphy, and showing that not only do they have the power, also the placement and timing between the 2 men as England continue this trend of the sides trading sets 6-4, and time flying by. Just over 6 minutes left in the first half.
What a cracker of a game we have here for you. as the balls are passed in by the ball retrievers, and Northern Ireland will look to make a set play. They're pressing up the court now in the green, releasing from the middle, then an after throw on the left-hand side, and no hit down the right-hand side for Kareem on Evans, safely blocked. It'll be England pressing up the court with 3 balls now. They're going to release one from the left-hand side. Murphy just lets it go besides him, and he collects the ball. Northern Ireland in the green pressing up court.
We're seeing how important it is for both sides to try and keep all 6 men on court in the opening exchanges there. Both sides doing a fairly good job of that now, which adds further importance in this middle part of the set. That's where things really start to shake up. And there we have a great example of it as Kareem almost going rogue there, hunting down Mester in the middle of the court. Nobody to punish him, though, on the England side.
He's a bit of a wild card as he does another pre-throw, then dives down to the ground. But that one was ready. He's just clipped on the ear. So he makes his way to the outbox, and it's 5 players versus 5 currently. Safe block by Hill on the right-hand side. Leach unable to break that block, so Northern Ireland will come up the court with 3 balls. There's high pressure on the left-hand side from Koenig. Hill throws at Evans, who hops over it very athletically and strikes out Morrison. Koenig just testing out Hill as he looked to counter, then had to stop in his tracks and block it. But Northern Ireland now have 4 balls, and it'll be Evans on the right-hand side to try and protect his teammates. They're going to release down the left. There's a post-throw, on Murphy by Evans, which connects. And we had 3 for Northern Ireland versus 3 for England Lions.
And a big play for Northern Ireland there. 4 balls released, 3 players out, but it was 2 England men out, just 1 from Northern Ireland and Murphy. Evans blocking that one away on the right wing into safety.
Yeah, lovely movement. So he did movement to get away from the first ball, and then the second one he just blocked out in front of him. Evans down into the ground, and that's easy for Johnny Hill to jump over. He has experience in long jump before coming to the sport of dodgeball, as his brother on the other side hits out Britnell Craven. Adam Hill with the strike there.
Adam Hill, the scorcher, you can see him there, and the close-up, a block down as well from Hill, but clipping the toes there of Britnell Craven. The wing battles here on both sides, fascinating so far, but it's turning into one of those games where it is really players versatile, hopping in wherever needed, and Evans hit out. Northern Ireland claiming this set, 6 points apiece. Big cheers coming in once again, and there's literally nothing to separate these sides, trading punch after punch.
We've got the coach coming on for England Lions. They're getting some tactical information in.
And there's, at this point, I think both sides will be fairly happy with how things are going. They're both, at times, being able to exert their dominance and their will over the opposition, but not consistently. Both teams really trading punches. As Christopherson taken there, and Kareem clipping him, despite Christopherson going down low.
He made himself a puddle on the floor, but it was well tracked by Abdullah Kareem. Now England Lions looking to throw, and it just glances Peter Morrison. Doesn't matter if you hit them square on or it just touches the cloth of your top. They all count as a hit, so he's now in the outbox. It's 5v5. Laverty putting himself down on the ground. Evans pressing up the court, but there's response from Kareem if he were to go any higher, so he elects not to. England Lions pressing up 3 balls. It's Leach who tries to strike Johnny Hill, who's been fantastic at dodging in the middle thus far in the tournament for Northern Ireland Knights.
Yeah, Leach, I think, hoping that Hill would go to one way, went the complete other and missed it by a good half meter in the end. Both sides releasing some absolute rockets from the half court, but both having a lot of respect for each other as the ball coming off the back. Leach picking up the catch afterwards as well. A little bit of fortune for England, but you have to be switched on to take those chances.
Now England having a bit of luck on the left-hand side, doing 2 ball attacks on Adam Hill. That's how they got him out this round. Johnny Hill looking to strike out Mester, lets it roll. Testing the block of Christopherson. He's equal to it and to a second there. Britnell Craven takes the 3rd ball. England Lions pressing up in the white now. One fake at the line, and the safe block by Britnell Craven from the pre-throw.
Oh, beautifully done. Christopherson clipped from long range. Such accuracy there, taking over probably 3/4 of the court in distance, but Northern Ireland still with a lot of work to do here. A minute left on the set, still 2 players down.
Every time we see a hit, there's almost always been a dodge, a primary movement, and sometimes even a secondary movement by the players. So we're really witnessing a top-level game here, as there was a fantastic catch by Johnny Hill, bringing in Peter Morrison there, and a nice dodge at the back of court by Leach.
So we're all square again, and Northern Ireland looking to end the run of teams trading sets here. If they can get 2 in a row, it'll be massive, but England once again in the ascendancy. A tiny touch there, and Morrison out. England looking to finish this off with 20 seconds left. Good block there by Koenig. Britnell Craven trying to play it safe, you might say.
Will they release? They're going to take their time, because they could just run out the clock and win by having the most number of players on by the end of 3 minutes. They've done some safe balls there, no chance of catching and making a turnaround for Northern Ireland Knights as they press up the court last seconds of the game, and an early block from... Were those hits in times? It sounded like one might have been before and one after, but it's going to be down to the referees to decide. If one was before and one was after, then it would be 2v2, and in the event of a draw at the end of 3 minutes, there would be 1 point apiece.
I mean, this is a really tough call. That's why you have these 6 referees here gathering to decide and try and figure out what came first. Was it the whistle, or were it the touches coming in? You can hear the touches coming in. That helps the referees decide, but it's really split-second stuff deciding a point here. I think at the end, 1 point apiece might be the safe option. And it's 2 points instead that appear to have gone to England. So both touches coming in after the whistle is the referee's decision there, Brew.
A tight call, and fantastic that we have so many top-quality referees here volunteering their time and putting everything into the sport of dodgeball.
You can see the celebrations coming in from Northern Ireland. They thought they had done it. Frustrating for them, but this game absolutely on a knife edge already, Brewer, into the 92nd set here at the end of the first half. It has flown by, and this provides a massive opportunity for England. All it takes is maybe 1 or 2 hits here to claim the 92nd set, and if they can take a 4-point lead with them into the second half, it'll feel like a massive boost, and for Northern Ireland, they'll feel that they deserve nothing less than going into this all level at the break.
Yeah, we've just had a tactical timeout by Northern Ireland, so before we begin the final 92nd set of the half, there will be 1 minute on the clock, and they'll be getting some information in to their teammates as we just watch a lovely replay here for you on the stream.
Yeah, fantastic to see these slow-mo replays coming in from the side of the court. Full TV broadcast production for you on the final day, day 4 of this European Dodgeball Championships, and it's only our second final of the day. Still 4 more to come across the women's and mixed divisions in both the foam and cloth categories. It's going to be quite a day here at UL Arena, Brew.
Teams lining up then for the final 92nd set of the half. Will England extend their lead, or will we go into half-time with points tied up for both teams?
Opening rush there, won by Mester for England, and that could be crucial here. As you said, it's a very short final set before half-time.
Yes, the first hit here could be crucial. It will be the most important one of the set. And it's made by Hill on Mester. Koenig pressing the court, electing not to go as there was Laverty looking at him with the ball. Time paused by referees.
Yeah, Mester and Leach there kind of stuck side by side in the middle of the court for England, and leaving at least one of them as a bit of a sitting duck. Brilliantly taken by Hill, forcing him out to the side, and there was nowhere in the end to go except to get hit, as you see a lovely view of the crowd here on the sideline.
So it was a really good selection of who to go for by Hill on the wing for Northern Ireland there. One player up the men in green, and a fantastic catch hit there on Johnny Hill on the back line. A catch by England Lions in the centre of court, and Adam Hill out also. England Lions with a 3-player advantage now. They hit out Laverty. Britnell Craven's on the floor. He's struck out by Kareem. There's only 2 players left in for Northern Ireland with 38 seconds left on the clock. They've got to turn this around pretty quick. High
blocked down
pressure
low.
from Evans.
Yeah, very good work from Evans there, and this is absolutely crucial for England. 3-man advantage. They've got to be careful. They're not going to do anything crazy here. Northern Ireland will try and force them into a tricky situation, but you can see how safe those throws are.
Yeah, just scattering around the player, nothing on target, and an amazing leap by Evans on the wing. Such athleticism, such height on the throw. And they're just going to hold to win now, England. They've got all the balls. They don't need to throw with the time running out.
Murphy trying to bait the catch.
A final hit for Kareem on the right-hand side, but the points taken by England there. And we're seeing both teams just fight and scrap for every single point here, Chris.
That is indeed the case. Massive set at the end for England as they extend their lead at the break. Brilliant play in the 92nd set. That catch right down the middle by Christopherson, making all the difference in the end. And if I'm not mistaken, that makes the halftime score 10-6 to England.
We're going to be able to enjoy some fantastic replays here at halftime, thanks to the professional production we have on today. Seeing Koenig getting blasted out by a multi-ball attack there, a pre-throw coming in from Britnell Craven and the slow-mo. England on the defensive as Hill attacks down the left wing there.
And during this halftime break, we'll be able to look at some of the stats provided by playbackreview.com. You've seen them on the top left-hand side of your screen throughout the half, and fascinating just to see the overview of who is doing what. And an outstanding player for England so far in this half has been their right winger, number 13, Dan Evans, with a fantastic all-round display,
yes,
it seems.
I've really admired the athleticism, the height on his jumps, and he's actually got the most eliminations out of any player on court thus far. He, of course, plays for one of the top teams over in England, Lutterworth Meteors, and the two players beneath him with the next most eliminations are the brothers Johnny and Adam Hill for Northern Ireland Knights. Nice slow-mo on your screens of Abdullah Kareem, number 42 for Northern Ireland now. And there is the star man with the most eliminations in the first half, Dan Evans, hopping over a ball and pressing up the wing again and striking out Morrison.
So a little bit of an overview here of the stats at halftime. As we mentioned, Dan Evans, one of the outstanding players, an incredible 9 hits on his tally so far in the game, and a catch on top of that. But the catches so far, 6 in total in this match, Brew.
Yes, and catches win matches, and they're spread around, which just shows you the depth and strength of all the players on court here today.
But Evans with one of those catches, and overall 9 hits on top of that, so responsible for 10 eliminations. After that, it's actually a 3-way tie with Britnell Craven responsible for 6, and the two Hill brothers, Johnny and Adam, with 6 apiece for Northern Ireland. You feel there with Kareem with 5 eliminations so far for Northern Ireland. There's maybe more that he can provide in this second half for the team. He has shown some glimpses of absolute brilliance, but they'll need him to step up a little bit more if they're going to turn this deficit around.
Well, you look to your wingers in dodgeball to make a lot of the hits. Now, when you're defending, you're at the back of court. When you have 2 balls, typically the balls go to the wings, and because you have the ball's possession more as a winger, you're expected to get perhaps a few more hits from that, and typically you will make those with after throws or running counters, which will be after the other opposition team have come up with a 3-ball press and perhaps released 1 or 2 at your defending team on the back line.
And Kareem doing a very good job of surviving in the game. He's got a 60% survival rate, which suggests that he is involved in the game big time. Perhaps a few more risks he could take, but important for those wingers to stay in the game. And I guess you have to back yourself at some point, Brew, that the chances will come for you.
Yeah, and survivability is something that he looks to maximize in his game. He's often used as a bit of a bait to try and gather more ball possession for his team. He'll press up the court, and then hopefully someone will release when they're on the back foot from the opposition team, which isn't a high percentage shot to make because you're not putting as much power into the throw, which you generate by stepping into your throw. and then that's easily dodged by somebody who is so quick at reacting and who can be super flexible and make his body super small, like number 42, Abdul Karim.
There you have it. We're just over 30 seconds away from the start of this second half. The sides trading the game set for set, and then a crucial turning point in the final minutes of that first half, where it looked like Northern Ireland might have just snatched the lead. The referee is calling it back, saying that 2 hits that came in came just after the whistle. That gave England the lead back, and with that, winning in the 92nd set at the end. They have the first significant advantage in this game, a 4-point lead. But I don't need to tell you, Brew Cousins, that it doesn't take very long to turn a 4-point deficit around, and the opening 2 sets of this second half will be crucial.
The first European winning match for Northern Ireland. They were chasing England Lions in the final in Groningen 2 years ago, so they know how to do this from a chasing position. They brought on the captain, number 10, Josh McElroy, now as he looks to strike out Kristoffersen, who just steps into the half space created by Evans as he pushes up on the wing.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what McElroy offers the team in terms of his play. Obviously a massive leader for the side. But what big change might come in? Well,
that is what he offers.
Of it.
He offers catches. He just plucks them out of the air with his hands anywhere you like. That is his main skill. I also really admire the way he has control over his feet. When he does dodges on the back line, he will do a jump, but then he will also tuck his feet out of the way and make secondary movements with them to avoid any oncoming balls.
The referees, I think, just checking what the situation is here, and because there are too many English players on court, one will have to depart. And we've figured out now who the departing player is. So Northern Ireland with the first big strike of this second half, and that has come from a catch by Josh McElroy. There's your first big hit from Northern Ireland as well. Hill right down the centre of the court, taking his player out early, and Northern Ireland with an early advantage here. We've seen so far in this match, though, there's still a lot that can change, and England well capable of taking catches themselves and picking players off. A little bit of revenge there from Britnell Craven, taking out Hill for the previous hit.
And you can see the effort these players are putting in on court as Britnell Craven jumps over that one. Plenty of cover shots there. The upshot is Aaron Murphy is out. England down to 3 players with Britnell Craven out. A 1-player advantage for Northern Ireland Knights in the green near side camera this half.
Yeah, Laverty playing a bit of a safe one there, not wanting to give away a catch. Still a long way to go in this set, however, so Northern Ireland will still have to keep pushing, and that's a great example. Karim, we talked about him at halftime, needing to maybe step up with a few more hits, and that a beautiful way to dispatch Dan Evans with a quick post throw.
Yes, and what he might have learned from his teammate of yesteryear, Kelvin Lee there, it's somewhere between a pre-throw and an after-throw. You're trying to get it almost instantaneous. As that player releases the ball at the centre line, that is when you're looking to strike them. McElroy almost off balance, falling over the back line. Some pump fakes at the front by Abdullah Karim, and they're deciding to go with a set play. One ball released on to Kristoffersen, who blocks safely and passes it to his Lutterworth Meteors teammate, Brett Koenig. McElroy just hit out on the leg, and I think there was a successful 2-step counter by Karim on Kristoffersen.
That's 2 big counters then from Karim. As you said, the last one might have been somewhere in between the 2, but they're taking England down to 1 player, and now Northern Ireland can play smart with 30 seconds left. The onus on England to get the catch here with Koenig, but he's also well capable, and that might have been a line fault in the near side. Either way, England taken out, and a little bit of luck perhaps for Northern Ireland at the beginning of this second half, but luck they've earned.
I had my eyes on the line ref for the back of court there. You thought there might have been one, and he made an indication that there was no line fault, so a successful counter by Northern Ireland Knights to finish off that set and to bring the scores now to 8 for Northern Ireland Knights, 10 for the England Lions. Chris O'Reilly.
We mentioned in the first half just the incredible control these players have within the court. They may have a shadow over the line, but the foot is still somehow inside. And brilliant execution there from Karim, not only to stay in court, but to run the running counter as well and to finish off that set in Northern Ireland's favour.
He absolutely maximises the space on court, using every single inch, something he might have picked up by his club mate and former player Sean Douglas, who loves to use every inch of the court.
And we're seeing that at its very best here from both teams so far in the game, as we're ready to go with a new set in this match. And a reminder that later on in this game we will have the MVP nominations, and you will be choosing the fans MVP. 4 nominations coming up on your YouTube stream very shortly.
So make sure you get your votes in there, please. We love the interaction. We love the positivity and support for your team in the chat as Christopherson hits out Laverty, number 57, walking to the outbox for Northern Ireland Knights, and that ties things up. 5 players apiece. A single ball released at Hill, which breaks the block down the right-hand side of your screens. Britnell Craven with the strike there.
A frustration for Hill as he made his way off court. Again, Kareem doing brilliantly to stay in and looking for the counter there, but a great hop over it. And England, as we've seen over and over again, trading the sets here, but the onus on Northern Ireland to get the deficit down. 2 points at the moment. Looking for the catch there, Hill. Britnell Craven taken out in the meantime, and Murphy scrambling for the 2 loose balls. Brilliant speed from Murphy. First of all, to get the hit, but also the awareness of the treasure that was waiting for him in the middle of the court.
Oh, and that treasure, they managed to get out the tricky man, Leach, on the left-hand side there, utilising the ball possession won by Aaron Murphy just moments before. Oh, fantastic movement by Abdullah Kareem. A 2-directional dodge up and to the right, getting out of the way of those super fast shots from England. There was a double pre-throw in, which was dodged deftly by the men in green, and a couple of throws there, a couple of different targets, but the upshot, Chris O'Reilly.
Well, the upshot there is that Northern Ireland are up by a man. I was just so impressed by the misdirection from Northern Ireland there. Kareem pointing at the target in the centre while Murphy was playing his own sport.
Well, you like to trick the opposition sometimes. You want to be a bit tricky, perhaps a bit disrupting of what they're expecting. And it worked out that time.
And it's non-stop mind games. And I think for people watching here, it might just look like a bunch of absolute beasts and different athletes of different shapes and sizes throwing these missiles at each other. But there is so much going on. With every throw that you're throwing, there's about 5 different danger points potentially coming your way. So many things going through your mind. And it's fantastic to see it being executed at the highest European level here today.
Oh my goodness, did he? The refs are going to call him out for that one. Yes.
Caught
Very
sleeping.
Yeah. A really tight one that must have just skimmed his shorts there.
Well, you might want to be shaving your legs on the day of the final in swimming and in dodgeball. But every little helps in that regard. And Northern Ireland brilliantly turning this set around, and now with a 3-on-1 advantage.
But we have a fantastic catcher here in the way of Mester. And he's reduced the deficit with a hit on number 42 for Northern Ireland. A catch would win it for him now. He's looking for the catch. No, he goes for a running counter instead because it wasn't there as McElroy fired one up and to the right of him. He's going to go for breaking the block. The push pass and exchange there. Aaron Murphy gets hit out, but he makes the hit on Mester. McElroy, the last player left in. Northern Ireland taking 2 points and levelling things here in the final.
I've said it time and time again during this championship, and I'm sure you know it all too well. There is no player in World Dodgeball that anyone would least like to be up against in the neutral area, and that is Aaron Murphy. The best you're going to come away with is a 1-for-1 trade, and that is what happened there. It was no good for England. Northern Ireland getting the 2 points, getting those first 2 sets of the second half, as we spoke about, and we're all level again.
What a jump in the air by Britnell Craven there as Adam Hill looks to do a quick start at the beginning of this set. McElroy just utilising lateral movement to get away from Evans, and we're going to just have a little pause in play to clean up the court now.
Well, we haven't had too many pauses so far in this game, which is good to see. There was a lot of pauses in the semi-final yesterday between Northern Ireland and Austria. Things getting very heated, a lot of slipping and sliding around, and no need for the mop yet, which has become a little bit of an in-joke in the dodgeball world after the World Championships last year in Graz.
And before then even, it started back in Groningen when Northern Ireland Knights got their first ever victory in the European Championships.
And while we have this little stop and play, a reminder again to have a look at the stats bar up on the top left-hand side of your screen. You can see a lovely overview of the array of stats. We went over a few of them at halftime here, and gives a nice insight into the effectiveness of both teams in different areas of the sport. And again, if you're interested, you can scan the QR code and learn more.
Two players out for England already, and that's a two-player advantage for Northern Ireland Knights as they look to defend near side camera. Kareem just making himself a small target and pushing the ball out in front of him, with which he can block successfully to get away from that. Evans with a block there, so that he's left safe. Laverty just providing the cover there on the back track, and England Lions pressing up the court for a cross-court release from Britnell Craven on Abdullah Kareem. Adam Hill pressing the court on the right-hand side, and they're really fighting for the court space here. Of course, you've got the neutral zone in the middle there where both teams can enter. Oh, Adam Hill splitting his legs, and down the left-hand side, Chris O'Reilly.
Great hit by Kareem, and with that, England down to 3 men, and suddenly you feel like momentum in this second half well and truly in Northern Ireland's favour, claiming the first 2 sets. If they can make it 3 in a row here, which they look more and more likely to do as Hill takes out Britnell Craven, then England will really need to regroup after this if Northern Ireland turn a 4-point deficit into a lead.
Yes, I think we might expect a tactical timeout from England if they do indeed lose this set, which we have just reached the halfway point of. Double ball release at Koenig, who set himself for a catch, but those were super fast. Now these players can throw at speeds of 60 to 70 miles an hour here, and that's quite something.
Indeed, in and around 100 kilometers an hour for those of you not knowing about miles per hour. But what's important there is that Laverty stepping up into the neutral zone, taking on Christopherson 1v1 and coming out on top. That was a real confidence play, and with that, Northern Ireland do indeed take 3 sets in a row, and England in a real spot of bother here. A timeout taken by the English Lions as they look to regroup, having seen their lead decimated.
Well, I wouldn't say decimated. It's just the 1 set advantage for Northern Ireland. It's been going toe for toe, tit for tat, as you've said earlier, and the teams will huddle in, get some water on board, get some electrolytes on board, and perhaps take in some tactical information now, Chris O'Reilly.
Just wondering what kind of adjustments the English side can make. They have a lot of power here in this squad. They have a lot of depth in this squad. There are some players here who really can offer something else if you were in this position. Tricky question from up here in the safety of the commentary gantry, but what changes, what adaptations might England need to do, or will they just need to trust in their plan and believe that they'll start to break down this Northern Irish team?
You've got to believe. You've got to believe. You've got to believe in yourself, in your abilities, and in your training. And now's the time to execute as they make a substitution. Stephen Dumbe, the player for London Storm, coming on the right-hand side of your screens, far side in the white.
And that was my slighted reference, talking about the power in depth that the English side have, and this man is truly power, and he's got a lot of depth as well. Stephen Dumbe, a crowd favourite, a fan favourite, a bit of a legend on the England scene, a chance for him to make an impact in this final.
Yes, an absolute powerhouse, and we're likely to see him getting on the ball and releasing a lot for England Lions in the second half here. Evans with another athletic jump, but he must have been skimmed there. The hit made, first elimination, goes to the outbox. Was that a skim? No, it goes past Johnny Hill in the middle, even though he looked to move in towards that ball this time around. We have Britnell Craven and Dumbe on the wings defending for England. Lots of balls exchanged, no hits made. Northern Ireland with a 1-player advantage.
Well, we're talking about Dan Evans' impact in the first half, and I'm guessing that is something that Northern Ireland realised as well, as they've kept him under wraps in this second half. Stephen Dumbe being caught on the counter, and his first foray into this final has been cut short for now. Northern Ireland once again opening up a 2-man advantage early doors.
And what I'm loving from Laverty here is when he's the holding player in a 3-ball press, he's coming back and he's keeping his teammates safe from the running counter, providing amazing cover on the backtrack. 2-ball release at Hill was not successful this time. The ball retriever unable to collect that ball as it goes back to England Lions. Just the 3 balls for Northern Ireland Knights. They connect one to Mr. Mester on the right-hand side and extend their lead. England, half the team left in now. Northern Ireland with the full contingent, 6 players on court.
And that is another area that was working so well for England in the first half. Mester taking catches, and you see he's still got the confidence. He's got the belief to take those catches, but just not sticking on that occasion.
Well, it's something he does all the time in the Super League, and it's something that Josh McElroy does all the time for fun.
He sure does. That's 2 big catches he's taken since coming in. A nice shot down low as well by Laverty. Northern Ireland rocking and rolling here with a minute left in the set. A chance for them to take a real lead here. A little bit of a trick play, but it doesn't trick Kareem as he avoids that attempt from Nathan Christopherson with aplomb.
Last player in, 6v1, not where you want to be. He takes the first catch, so it's 2v5 now. Murphy taking a walk to the outbox. He crosses his head, but still things in the favour of Northern Ireland Knights. Evans with the hit on McElroy. They're closing down the lead that Northern Ireland Knights have in this frame with 25 seconds on the clock. They're going to need to make a couple of hits. Hill makes an amazing sideways movement. He traversed half of the court there, and his brother just pushes him to keep him in the court, and then there was a secondary throw released at him as he was stuck on the ground trying to keep his body in the ground. And yes, he's left a little bit of a slug trail there, which we're cleaning up now. A few seconds break in play.
Brilliant awareness there from Dan Evans to stay in the neutral zone, to stay aware and not just get frustrated with the fact that they missed their first opportunities. He still had the ball in hand, waited for Hill to come to a halt, and he took his chance, and a big play as well. But it seems like
no out.
No out. Maybe it bounced before hitting him. We're a little bit blocked from seeing whether it was a bounce or not. The referee's quite sure about it though, so still 4-on-2. But there is a hit.
Running counter by Hill, but he's hit out during that. Abdullah Kareem pushing Northern Ireland back in front. They're going to hold for the win now with 2 seconds left. Christopherson's going to look to release, but it's not in time. My goodness me, they were fighting right till the end, and they almost did it there, Chris O'Reilly.
4 sets in a row for Northern Ireland at the start of this second half, and with just 7:52 left in the match, England really need to pull something out of the bag now. Northern Ireland, everything going their way, but this is also the beauty of dodgeball, that after a 3-minute set you have a fresh chance, you have an opportunity to cut the deficit all over again. So England will not be giving up hope by any means. We've seen stranger things happen than a 4-point turnaround.
Mester making his way on court just in time to begin this 3-minute set. Northern Ireland Knights pressing up the court with Laverty in the middle. It's released from the left-hand side at Ndumbe, who loses his balance. Line fault on the left-hand side. Fantastic play by Abdullah Kareem. Hughes in the middle, but it's Britnell Craven who releases on the right-hand side at Hill. And then an opportunistic hit on Mester by Kareem. Shots firing off left, right and centre. And we are just confirming who we're going to go for the fan vote for MVP. That will be coming into the chat soon, so make sure you get your votes in on that poll. It's 4-3 in the favour of Northern Ireland Knights in the green. A safe block by Sam Laverty at the front of court. He was pre-thrown by Christopherson. England now pressing up with 3 balls.
And a great catch there. Brilliant stuff, and Northern Ireland continue with the massive plays. Hill with the catch, bringing his brother back in. Big block there from McElroy as well, and knowing that he can calm things down. Still a long way to go in this set, but it's a familiar situation, Brew.
Yeah, and something McElroy will be very familiar with. He likes to make the calls. Hill celebrating the 1v1 on the right-hand side because it's super difficult to turn things around when you are the last player left in, and that is what Christopherson has to do here.
Well, last time, and he's walked off court.
Yes.
And he can tell us maybe a bit why that is important at this stage.
Well, because they're chasing the game. They have 5 minutes and 50 seconds left in the half, and they've got to get 3 sets in before the end in order to tie things up and to take things into extra time.
England.
And it's so difficult, so difficult if you're the one player left in by yourself. You can't do a double running counter, so that might be why he elected to step off court, because they're going to have more chance of winning these next few frames.
And the right decision by all means, but only an effective decision if England can start winning some of these frames, because at the moment it's 5 in a row for Northern Ireland. They've turned a 4-point deficit around to a 6-point lead, and England, the record champions, still chasing their first title since 2018, really on the back foot now. Northern Ireland, who just seem to love this competition, 2-time reigning champions in the European men's division, looking to make it 3 in a row.
There was a cross-court from Koenig on Kareem, who did an after-throw at Evans, but there were no hits. There's 6v6 on court currently. McElroy hits out on the back line for Northern Ireland Knights. England Lions are going to get 3 balls in, and Northern Ireland defending on the back line with 2. Pre-throw from Hill on Koenig, an attack from the other England Lions, no hits made.
I'm just so impressed with Laverty's movement on the back line there. Big man, big powerful player, but he's such got control there as a big opportunity goes to waste for England.
Yeah, well, that was a difficult one for Evans to make. He was trying to catch the ball up on his shoulder when he already had a ball in his hands. So really difficult to get a grip on that one, as we see Adam Hill making his way to the outbox from the right wing for Northern Ireland Knights. 4v4. 4v4
in a crucial stage in this now. Next hit could be important, and that
wow.
Next hit comes in from Kareem on the left wing for Northern Ireland. Head-in-hand stuff for England. They're so close, but not quite getting things their way.
I just love how Johnny Hill read the pre-throw there, as Laverty's cover has been so good all game, but he's just caught out up court on that one, and it's 3v3 now with 1 minute 12 to play in this frame. A fantastic read by Hill in the middle there from Leach's pre-throw. He gets away from it, and actually they eliminate Leach in that play. And there's another pre-throw this time on Hill. He's had 3 pre-throws coming at him in a row, and the third one he wasn't able to get away from.
But he takes out Koenig, which is so important at this stage. And Aaron Murphy finishes the job, and Northern Ireland look to be on the verge of claiming a 3rd European men's cloth title in a row. Still time left on the clock, but very little that England can do now.
History has been made. This is a three-peat for the Northern Ireland Knights at the Dodgeball European Championships.
And no better man to finish off this set win than Aaron Murphy. What a play, what a way that the players like Kareem have stepped up. It's a timeout from Northern Ireland, as I guess now they're just making sure that everyone knows the situation to enjoy it. But look at the focus down on the timeout huddle as well. They're ensuring that they play this one out safely and they take home the gold.
Yes, the conversations there being led by Josh McElroy. Of course, he'll be very proud of the boys. He's been training with them for a long time. I gave him his debut back in the day when he was a player for Queen's. He's since moved on to win the Northern Ireland League several times, the only player to do so with Dublin when they were back in the league a long time ago, and then having lots of success starting up his own club in the form of Ballyhackamore Barbarians.
I think anyone aware of European Dodgeball or World Dodgeball well aware of that club and their famous colours as well. And a few changes coming up here, and a chance for the full squad of Northern Ireland to enjoy this moment.
Yes, we have a debut tournament for Faisal Fakhri. We have Luke Wallace coming on number 5, number 27 Alex Watts, Abdul Darwish number 22, Morrison coming back on court, and Earwicker number 9, and they'll be enjoying this. Some game time in the final, Chris O'Reilly.
What a treat also for the players to be able to enjoy this final, but also for the players who've gotten the job done, who can now go onto the sideline, do a bit of ball retrieving, and to support their teammates, because as we all know, this is an entire squad effort. You don't get to this point without a squad. Players have stepped up at different points for this Northern Irish side, and they've built it up together over the years as well.
Yeah, so it's not just about the 6 players on court at the start of the match. It's about your squad in general, and indeed your training squad, because you need a high level of competition to ensure that you are doing the best you can on court, and that there is high levels when you are training in the build-up to these international competitions.
Oh, what a second half it's been from this Northern Ireland side. When we think back to the semi-final performance over Austria yesterday, where they came flying out of the blocks and really had to scrap to stay in the game, a complete role reversal here today, going in at half-time, 4 points down, and probably feeling like that 4-point deficit was a little bit unjust. They didn't dwell on it though. They went back out there in the second half and they showed who was the better side on the day.
Just really loving the atmosphere here at the University of Limerick for the Dodgeball European Championships 2025. The stands are packed.
Well, they sure are, and we'll have one last set here, 90-second set to finish this one off. England getting themselves on the board for the first time in this second half. Too little too late for them, and here just a bit of an exhibition for the final 90 seconds. Both sides with their final throws of the match. However, they will, many of these players, be coming up against each other in the mixed final. Ooh. The final game of the day later on. So England will have another shot at glory in that regard. England with teams in the final of all 6 divisions. They've already picked up one title in the foam. So
men's foam division, yeah.
It won't be a magnificent 6th for them. Northern Ireland taking their first title of the day, and both will have chances later on to add to that tally.
Alex Watts catching in Abdul Darwish. A magnificent leap by Richards on the back line for England Lions. They're going to wait to get 4 balls or 5 balls in hand. They've given away all the ball possession, Northern Ireland. It's going to be a leap of faith by Richards on Earwicker, which does connect, which enables him to go back into court. He's doing another one. Push pass from Morrison.
2 in a row for Richards, and Watts hit out, and that will do it. Northern Ireland, the champions again, the three-peat for the boys in green.
What a proud moment for Adam Hill, Johnny Hill, Josh McElroy, Sam Laverty, and all the Northern Ireland stars. Aaron Murphy there as well. Commiserations to England Lions. They played a fantastic game of dodgeball there, Chris.
They sure did. And that first half performance, I have to say, it was absolutely nothing between the side. It was England who were the ones who were able to really set the tone at the beginning. They were the ones taking the opening sets. And from there, it was a 4-point lead for them at halftime. I believe you're going to run down and have a chat with some of the players. Any final words on the commentary side before we let you run down to court side?
Oh, it's been an honour to commentate with you, Chris O'Reilly. I'm very much looking forward to the cloth finals for women's and mixed coming up. Stay tuned for those. We'll have some separate streams coming up for those. And of course, stay tuned for those player interviews I'll be getting with you next. We'll hand back over to Chris O'Reilly for a deeper look into the stats and some post-match analysis.
Thank you very much, Brew. And let's see if we can have a little look at the stats before we hand over to the post-match interviews. And a chance for me to take a seat as well. Beside the lovely folks from Playback. And a little overview coming your way in a moment. And a chance for us all to take a breath after that pulsating final. Northern Ireland, a magnificent second half performance. And just to put into context, from 4 points down, 2 sets down at halftime, 10-6, they managed to go 5 in a row and really build the foundations for what is a magnificent gold medal for them. Just having a look at some of the stats coming our way shortly. As you can see, some wonderful slow-mo replays of the celebration for Northern Ireland as they claim a 3rd consecutive European title in the men's cloth category. They've done it the hard way, going right down to the wire in the semi-finals yesterday against Austria, decided in the most dramatic of fashions, winning in the overtime set when it looked like they had just snatched it in normal time. Not to be. England, they have been dominant en route to the final, and maybe that is something they'll be looking back and wondering whether they were truly tested at some point in the build-up to this. They had an average match win of 25 points per match, and coming in and facing a completely different beast in Northern Ireland. I'm pretty sure they'll be saying that that is not an excuse, however. They are well aware of what Northern Ireland possessed and the level they needed to be at to get to that point. And, just having a look at some of the top stats from this match. Britton O'Craven with 14 eliminations, 14 hits for him, a fantastic performance from that man. Evans with 14 as well, and Nathan Christopherson, the three big players for England. But overall, it was the team effort from Northern Ireland. You have players like Murphy, Hill, Kareem, and
commiserations, Brett, captain of the English men's cloth team. How are you feeling after that final?
Yeah, it's really disappointing. Obviously, we had a really good first half, got 4 points into the lead, really struggled to get a foot into the second half. Can't really put my finger on why just now. We're probably going to have to go back, reflect on why we didn't quite push on to the second half. It was kind of like a new look team, so I think we're still finding our feet in that sort of way.
Yeah, lots of change-ups with the lineups there. Probably not the starting six that people would have bet money on going into this tournament. How have the group games and the semis kind of adapted that team into moving forwards into this finals?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of players who are like even ability, and comes down to the form they're feeling on the day, how they're going to play. We had our coach tore his tricep in the quarterfinals yesterday. I tore my rotator cuff yesterday, so we weren't really sure on the lineup we were going to play, how much maybe I could play or the team could sort of rally around us. So I think it was tough to find like our best six, and subs are really hard in dodgeball and didn't quite make the impact we hoped they would.
Yeah, excellent performance in it. I won't keep you for too long. Thank you very much. If you want to say anything to the fans at home, please do.
Yeah, just massive thank you to everybody who's come out to support, everybody at home watching. Thank you so much. Hi to Kat, hi to Jude. Love you, miss you.
Joined by the captain of Northern Ireland Knights, Josh McElroy. Just how was it playing in that incredible match and winning the final against England Lions?
It's always a privilege to be at the tournament and to sort of fight your way through the group stages and then into the quarterfinals, and a really, really tough double semi in terms of our mixed and men's yesterday. So even to get on the court in the final was tough, and playing those guys, it's never ever easy against England. We've had a rub of the green for a couple of years against them now, but they really brought it to us. You know, the first half was England's game, and certainly the boys really, really dug. I could be more proud of them for battling through that second half and showing our quality and coming out on top in the end.
What did you do to accelerate away from them in the second half and extend your lead?
Yeah, so I think if you watch the game back, the first half they're making loads of hits, and we're really struggling to find that single ball hit. And we're getting into a couple of extra phases that we know is England's strength and not ours. So once we sort of settled down, started to actually dodge, because Evans in particular, I'll shout him out from England, was phenomenal. He was smashing through us repeatedly in the game, and we managed to dodge that bit better in the second half and then find our hits.
Some excellent tactical analysis from you there, Josh. What would you say to somebody who's watching perhaps in Northern Ireland and interested in trying out the sport, giving dodgeball a go?
Yeah, so look, to get involved in Northern Ireland, there's several clubs. There's Crossfire, Kapow, ourselves, Ballyhackamore. They can always get involved with us. They can contact me or find us in any of the sort of social media platforms.
Josh McElroy, congratulations and thank you very much.
Cheers.
Three-peat, three-time champion.